You're watching ABC4 News, celebrating 75 years.
Now to shocking new study out of the University of Utah.
Researchers highlighting evidence of a state eugenics program that forcibly sterilized more than 800 Utahns across several decades. ABC4's Kate Gardner has the story on the legacy of that program and its impacts to this very day.
This is the Utah State Training School Amphitheater. In its prime, it stood as a symbol of the government's efforts to lift Utahns out of poverty during the Depression. But with time, it also became a symbol of government overreach, as hundreds of people fell victim to forced sterilization.
Many people in the general public are aware that there was this thing called eugenics in America, that it reached its sort of grisly zenith in Nazi Germany.
James Tabery is the lead researcher looking into the history of Utah's eugenic sterilization programs, a history that still touches the present.
The scars from that are still on people's bodies living among us today.
Tabery says Utah was one of 32 states that passed legislation permitting the sterilization of people on eugenic grounds, meaning people deemed habitually sexually criminal, insane, idiotic, and imbecile, feebly minded, or even epileptic. The fear that the children would be a burden on society.
When there was shame associated with it, families just sort of naturally, if they had a child born with a disability, would turn them over to the training school.
Originally, the 1925 law allowed the sterilization of those institutionalized at the Utah State Hospital, state prison, and state industrial school, usually adults. But that changed in the 1930s after the completion of the training school.
They would be told, we're going to teach, Sarah or John, how to farm or how to sew. They'll become sort of self-sufficient in a way.
But the school served another purpose.
Once you're in there, you sort of become a candidate for sterilization.
He says teens, preteens, and even a child under the age of 10 were all subjected to this.
It was perpetrated by people that thought that they were doing the right thing, that they thought they were helping people, that they were serving the community.
This lasted into the 70s. He says eugenic leaders even touted this as an important achievement in public health. He and his fellow researchers now believe that from the 20s through the 70s, at least 830 people were victimized, and they estimate that approximately 54 could still be alive today. But why should we care?
There are still laws in the books that allow for the sterilization of people with disabilities.
He says today most requests come from a person's guardian to improve their well-being, as opposed to the recent past.
The people who were making the decisions about the sterilization of these people were largely state officials, administrators at these institutions. And part of the rationale for that was it would be better for society if these people don't have children.
Tabery tells me he hopes that as more of Utah's top officials learn about the history of eugenic sterilization in the state, that the state will come forward with a formal apology. Reporting from American Fork, Kate Garner, ABC4 News.